It's Monday and time for the Back to Business podcast, featuring Calgary's industry leaders. Welcome today's show host, Kim Hayden.
Let's talk happiness. You know, they say, don't worry, be happy. But what is happiness? Well, today we're going to learn a little bit more about happiness as a result of your mind health. Our guest today, Karen Judge, has been on a quest for a couple decades now to actually help bring mind health to individuals, corporations, and communities so we can all live a little bit happier. But first, our land acknowledgement. We here at the Calgary Petroleum Club, in the spirit of reconciliation, honor and acknowledge that the land on which we learn, work, and live is Treaty 7 region of southern Alberta. This place is the traditional homeland for the First Nations and Métis peoples, and today we all are part of this treaty land. Alrighty, folks, you are in for a treat today. My girlfriend, Karen, who we are like sometimes ships in the night, but we're always in that same kind of the emotional space of we just want to see people do better, be better, live better lives, be happier. And I think, you know, those similar core values and you know what, get your pen and paper, mark this episode down, because I do think this is one that you're going to want to come back to, because there's always incredible golden nuggets when I get a chance to sit down with Karen. Karen, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks, Kim. I'm glad to be here.
We've known each other on this whole journey back, like in the Wayback Machine, when you were first looking at writing your book, and you were like, you know, working. I think we met just after your style days, and when you were literally starting to step directly within this mind health space. Let's talk about the beginning of what you're doing now and how it has evolved. Take us through the HAPPIFIED Hub and how it became what it is today.
Well, to your point, Kim, it's been a journey to get here for sure. And we're both queens of resetting and moving into the direction we need to move into. So it's really been, I'd say, 30-some years, my entire career, that has got me to where I am today. And as you mentioned, you know, I spent my first half of my career in fashion, which might sound really bizarre or doesn't connect, but actually I used fashion as a tool to sell people confidence. And so it was my way of getting someone to light up and see themselves in a way they've never seen themselves before. And then what did that look like? And then I had my own life crisis, as we all will have. And after that, I really had to question, was I living my biggest life? It really made me reflect. And I always had a calling to do something in the space of mental health, but I didn't know what that was. And so I decided, that's it. I'm going to retire from the fashion industry, and I'm going to go on this journey to figure out where I can make a difference in the space of mental health. So that's when I started studying neuroscience, biology, positive psychology. I took a lot of mental health trainings. I really thought I was going to find a place and make a difference in the system. But unfortunately, all I ended up with was a really hurting heart. The reality is our system is underfunded, under-resourced, and I found a missing piece to the system, and that's prevention. That we're not being taught skills and tools in a time of joy and inspiration, so that when the road of life gets rough, we have the ability to handle it. So that's when I stepped out and I coined the term proactive mind health. And we were together on the book writing retreat.
Yes.
You and I. You were launching your book. I was launching
and
mine.
And Marlene, who is a member here, was my bunkmate. And yeah, and it was, I love that. By the way, I would love to do that again. I never did get around to writing the book. That's you guys. You do that. I just talk a lot. But yeah, that was awesome. So walk us through the retreat, because the retreat was really kind of this whole pivot point for you, wasn't it? Like around that time, that's when everything was changing.
Yeah, that was probably in the beginning stages.
Yeah.
I knew I had this book in me. It just came to me. I took Canadian Association of Professional Speakers, and it was during that journey of learning to become a professional speaker that I knew I wanted to write a book. And all of a sudden, it just hit me. And I'm like, I need to use driving a car as my metaphor. So the book is called Drive Your Happiness. I use the word happiness just as the shiny ball syndrome, but it's so much deeper, right? And so we did the book retreat, and that's when I started to write the book. It's been a real journey. I wrote the book 3 times. The first one I wrote it very, it was a bit too much of my story. And that's not what I'm here to do. I'm not here to tell my story. And I realized I was still healing. And I don't believe that you should be in service to others until you have properly healed yourself. And so I knew I had to go and do my work and come back. And so I came back to it when I felt like I was ready. But then I wrote the book from ego because I'm not a doctor. I wanted that credibility piece because I know a lot about this subject. So I wrote it very science-based. And really, who wants to read that? And then I thought about it and I was just like, I just need to write it from the heart. And so it's just a journey. The book is like an hour and 20-minute read. I just give you little nuggets. I'm just there to inspire you and then will inspire you to follow, to come to HAPPIFIED Hub and follow this journey and get into the community because this is a big conversation. And I just want to, inspire people and make the conversation easy to understand, make it playful and fun and empower people and just support them to shine. And so hopefully that's what the book does, that they can take pieces from it and integrate it into their own life. I do inject a bit of my wisdom. I have to, right? You have to give some context.
And I love the fact that it's drive your, and you never varied from that in the sense that you've always had that analogy and in part because your husband's been in the automotive space, because you guys are kind of where we bump into each other is at these automotive shows and such. And yet it's driving is part of North American culture. And we, anybody, whether they have a driver's license or not, knows basic road etiquette, right? We know what what the signs look like. So I love how you've made that completely relatable at almost like that subliminal level. Like we already know this. So we were 5 years old driving around in our little, little Tykes car, right? When you talk about mental health and happiness skills, it's not just being, right? It's a full adoption all the way through. Can you give us a bit more, I know it's hard to do this exactly, but explain that a little bit more to us. Like go a little bit deeper into what that, I guess, feels like or looks like when you go on this journey, when you start learning to be happier with where you're at.
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to clarify, happiness is the outcome. And what I have learned through all my research is mind health is absolutely the precursor to happiness. And so the book, using the metaphor, I start off with saying the first thing is about raising your level of consciousness. And so what I want to do is ignite everybody's reticular activating system. So that means you're paying attention, because what I've learned is if it matters to you, you pay attention. So it's like buying a car. Say you buy a red Honda Civic, and then all of a sudden you go on the road and you see the exact same color, make, model everywhere. And you're like, why are there so many cars like mine? Well, those cars were always on the road. You just didn't notice it because they didn't matter to you. And so my first step is about getting people, for this conversation to matter to people and that they want to pay attention. And then we go on a journey. So proactive mind health is about whole self well-being. And the premise of proactive mind health, our premise to whole self well-being. So premise is an acronym for physical, relational, emotional, mind, intellectual, spirit, environmental, self. So I look at all those areas because what I know to be true is in order to be healthy and happy, you have to be whole and complete. And when it comes to mental health, the reason people struggle is different. If you say were to go have a heart issue, chances are you're going to have the same surgery they perform over and over again. But when it comes to mental health, there are no two people that are the same. We're snowflakes. Yeah. And so I think in order for us to have hope, we have to meet people where they are at. And my whole system of the premise for proactive mind health does exactly that. And so, of course, I don't diagnose, I don't treat. So this is not used for somebody who, has a brain health challenge and needs professional support. This is on the other side for you to be healthy and so that you never cross the line. And so we look at all those areas. I have intake. I call it the tune-up inquiry. So just like you would go to a mechanic to have your car checked up to find out if there's any warning signs before your car breaks down in the middle of nowhere, that's exactly what I do. So I go through this. It's about 70 questions, and you take them, and I'm able to create a baseline for you. And then I connect you to resources for you to nurture and enhance any of the areas that are showing, I guess, warning signs. So, yeah.
I think, so I'm writing tons of notes down. So if you're listening to this, this is what I doodle is I pick up things. So let's start with the connection. Why would somebody's going to go, well, if you're not a doctor, why would I go to you? Well, what's the number one cause? What's the number one thing everybody's talking about right now is the loneliness epidemic. Sounds to me as if this is more around the community structure, bringing people in and supporting them so that as they're on their journey, they have a community. They don't feel alone. They don't feel like they're trying to find all the answers on their own. Am I understanding that? Because you took, I'm just. That to me is the biggest challenge. Is a lot of people feel they're completely alone in all of this, and
yeah, I think there is a big isolation piece, but more so than that, it's connection. It's connection to self and a sense of belonging, and we have to be connected and belong to ourselves first before we can belong to anything else. And why this is different is there are amazing people in the system that are doing amazing work.
Absolutely,
but this does not exist in the system. What I do sits outside of the system. It's very holistic. It's a lot of cutting edge science. There's so many smart people out there that are proving there are answers. Spirituality and science are finally coming together. And what I've learned is how powerful the human is, and the power in the brain-mind-body connection. And we're just not taught this. We're not taught this in schools. We don't integrate it into the workplace. We don't talk about it at home, and we don't spread it throughout the community. So if we're not talking about it, how can we do it? And when I speak in public or I speak in my corporate, my first question is always, raise your hand if when you woke up this morning, you made a proactive plan for your mind health. I don't get 1% of the hands that go up. And if I do, they usually will say, I took a yoga class or I went for a run, which is all part of it. But as I said about premise of proactive mind health, it's bigger than just physical fitness. It encompasses so much. And so 1%. And then I say, raise your hand if you are someone you know, a loved one, coworker, neighbor, friend, yourself, struggles with depression. 98% of the hands usually go up.
Yeah.
And to me, I truly believe if we could get people to make proactive mind health a daily habit, understand what that is, make it easy to do, get to mastery so that it just becomes part of your subconscious programming and you're doing it without even thinking, I absolutely, without a doubt, believe that we could diminish the other.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned tune-up, and we know that a vehicle has to be tuned up on a regular. Like you can't do it when it hits 60,000 kilometers and not do it when it hits 120,000 or 180, right? This is basic maintenance. And anybody who's been following the show, and if this is the first time, welcome to my life. Menopause and all the shifts and the changes and then the empty nest and stuff. Would you say that doing these tune-ups, doing these check-ins, that you need to be very aware and that you're not going to do it just once in your life. You're going to do it repeatedly if you're checking in with yourself.
It is a forever. It is a forever because you need different resources at different time in your life. So you have to be, like I said, this is like brushing your teeth or having a shower. You don't just brush your teeth once a month. You have to do it every day. Mind health, you have to practice every day in order to stay healthy and happy. And you have to adjust along the way. And so, yes, absolutely.
And then what I would love to do is kind of go through what does a mind health activity in the morning, what does that look like? What does that sound like? Can you walk us through? And folks, we're not given, like, you're not going to be able to tomorrow, literally change everything. But I want a starting point. If you could give us a starting point, so at least we can understand that.
Well, I certainly can offer what I do. But again, through the Tune-Up Inquiry, I meet people where they're at. So just because it
what
works
do you
for
do,
me.
Karen? Karen's lovely. You're in for a treat. Karen's lovely.
Well, just because it works for me. However, it can still inspire, right? So absolutely, every morning we have to make time for this. We have to start our day up and we have to set our brain out or set our brain up for success. So the absolutely first thing I do every morning is I tell myself it's going to be a good day, because then my brain goes searching for it. I usually start the day off. I have a gratitude bouquet at the end of my bed, and it reminds me to practice gratitude. There's so much science behind the power of practicing gratitude. In fact, it is the best way to quickest way to turn a frown upside down, because your brain cannot have a positive and a negative thought at the same time. So if you are in a negative state, to stop and do gratitude will absolutely shift. So every morning, 3 things of what I'm grateful for, and not just what I'm grateful for, but why I'm grateful for it. So it really creates emotion. Then I always take in some inspiring information. I either listen to a bit of a podcast, I read a book, something. And then before that, I do a brain balancing meditation. And so this is very exciting. It's what we're going to be launching through HAPPIFIED Hub. And we're so excited about this. They are meditations, Solfeggio meditations that are written in different hertz levels. And it's just beautiful music. It's like listening to Disney quality music. And what it does is it gets the left and the right hemisphere of the brain communicating. So by listening to these, it helps me to be a better problem solver in the day, maybe less angry, maybe more critical thinker, more rational. It's amazing. Then I take time to style my happy. As being in the fashion industry, I wear what makes me smile. I'm known for always wearing my happy faces because I am my brand, but it's just my thing. I do some form of exercise, and I eat for my gut health, because 90% of our serotonin is made in our gut health. It is non-negotiable principle. First of all, to take care of self and to be paying attention to what you're putting in your body. Food is either medicine or is poison.
Yeah. Somebody told me I need to eat more sauerkraut. Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like, well, does that come with the hot dogs and the bun too? So, no, it does not. It does not. I am curious. So on the brain balance, it's fascinating that you bring that up, because since I love social media and everything listening to us, I've known that I'm ADHD for years, and I've always chosen not to do anything when it comes to medication or anything along those lines. And with this new iteration of my working space and our next level of programs that we're offering, my partner's like, I really would like you to seriously consider a very low dose, just helping you to stay on task and complete things. And it's like, okay, so I respect that. I'm going to do that. In this journey of discovering as to how my brain works and why it works that way, I keep seeing this brain hurts. Listen to this, listen to this. What is it about these sounds or this music that I guess, balances the brain.
It's the way it's produced. The ones that we offer are produced by somebody who owned the recording studio in the 70s in LA. So he's produced from Michael Jackson to Lady Gaga to Barbra Streisand, you name it. He's worked with them. So he's extremely talented. And years ago, well, when he was in LA, he did a documentary in LA or in Egypt. He was in Egypt and he was in the pyramids. And he experienced this sound, this tone. And he said he can't even explain what it was or how he reacted to it and how he felt, how powerful it was. So he started to do the research. So this is nothing new. This has been around for thousands of years. It's just a little bit more new to the Western world. And so he started to study this. So these meditations are written in different Hertz levels. So you can research the Hertz levels and what each one does. But it's how he produces them and what he does around them that is the magic. And there's nobody in the history of the world that's taken it to this level. So he's used it for trauma for the past 4 or 5 years. He's been researching it with trauma, had huge success. There are some therapists out there that use it now before they do talk therapy, and they're having great success. That is not what we do. We do not do the therapeutic form, but we can connect people to somebody that does. Ours is more on the holistic brain balancing. It takes about 90 days to really balance your brain. So you can come to the hub, you can come to our headquarters, and you can have the beautiful experience with, the best headphones and this beautiful piece of music. You just listen to this piece of music. And of course you take the headphones off and you're like, so am I supposed to feel anything? But you'll just know, how long it lasts. You'll notice in your behaviors after. We are actually going to do a non-clinical neurofeedback as well on your brain before, so we can show the impact that it's had, just because people don't believe unless they see, right? Yeah, we're so excited about this.
Well, and music, I know, is used for Alzheimer's therapy. Music is used for all sorts of therapy, right? But when we're looking at this, like I'm looking at, the 5 senses, right? A visual cue, an audio cue, a tactile cue, the motion of the body, and then the taste. So when we look at it, smell, see, touch, taste. What's the 5th one? Touch, taste, smell. I'm missing one. I just lost one. There's 5 senses, and folks, that's only 4. Please let me know in the comments below the one I missed. So what are the few? Now, I want to move this around because you mentioned corporate and companies, and we are here at the Business Club.
Yes.
And what are a few simple practices leaders, business owners, corporate initiatives could do that will help inspire people to that, the mind health, that being more proactive?
Well, this is a big question. I've spent the last decade mainly focusing on my corporate work, stepped away from it a little bit, not that I'm still not doing it, but here's the thing. I truly believe that most leaders want to do better. They don't understand what that really means. And so in my experience is when I speak to a leader and we get on the topic of mental health, the first thing I hear is, well, we've just upped our EAP program or our benefits that people have, $5,000 now to spend should they experience a crisis. My thing is, as great as that might sound, that's not enough, because somebody could spend that amount of money in the first week and it could take 10 years for them to recover. So then what? So I say, don't wait for that to happen. That is not a plan. That is just the safety net. And really the hope for change is to be more proactive and to integrate mind health into the workplace. And it really doesn't have to be that complicated to do. And again, most companies will say, we just don't have a budget for this. And I'll say,
I don't think it would take a lot of a budget, though, would it?
Well, you can get very resourceful. You have to have the proper guidance and support.
Yes, absolutely. You need to invest in the guidance to ensure. But when you're talking about the visual cues, how hard is it to create, put a couple plants up in a space or put a cling on the mirror saying, look here, and this person's awesome. Yes. I got a great mug the other day. and it had the company's brand on the top, on the front. And when I tipped the mug up, it had an arrow that pointed back at me, and it said, "This is what a what was it? It was this is what a volunteer rock star looks like." That made me feel amazing.
Yeah, words are so powerful. So yes, absolutely.
And it's sight, sound, scent, touch, taste.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
You got
At
it.
the 5. I knew
You
that.
got it.
But that's literally, you're triggering everything that we take the world in with.
Yeah. No, it doesn't have to be complicated. And so what we're doing is we're going to be offering just an online webinar that leaders, HR department, whoever could just take, super simple to guide you. And then we support in doing Mind Health Mondays. So every week you incorporate a little challenge into the workplace. So an example of something they could do right there is gut health. If you go into the fridges or the lunchrooms of these companies, there's a lot of sugar. There's a lot of sugar in that fridge. The first thing could be replacing that and really, setting the intention or inspiring people to want to eat healthy.
Yeah.
And that's just one small step that you can do. But we can support people in every week of what that a weekly challenge can be, and it doesn't have to be complicated. And then what we're so excited about is we are launching the Mind Health Lounge. And so we are doing our first prototype in our new headquarters.
Tell us where the headquarters are, because this is very cool, because this is a new initiative in, like, the location. Everything is new. This is, and it's an anchor for Calgary. So walk us through. Where are you at?
We're very excited. We are inside the new private club, the Eau Claire Athletic Club. They have a West Wellness, and we are in the Wellness Lounge. We are bringing Mind Health Fitness into the club and into the community. So we are our office is open to the public as well. So we're so excited, because just like physical health, right? You build physical health. Well, we need to strengthen our mind health fitness, and so that is what we're activating. So yeah, we're super excited.
That is super cool. And I'm dying to get over to the club, because it's, my understanding is just phenomenal. And it's where the old Eau Claire was. And so it's very, very central and right off of some of the most beautiful walking paths and spaces in Calgary. So let's go into the space so we can come and visit you.
Yes.
You're going to have Mind Health Mondays. Walk me through that a little bit. Like, how can we experience that or engage it?
Yeah, so people can just go to our website. We are hosting Mind Health Mondays there, and people can come and join one of our public sessions, or a corporation we can host a private session. And like I said, in our office is our prototype of a Mind Health Lounge. And so we actually have the turnkey in a box where you can actually put one of these lounges in your office, in your organization. So it's a constant reminder to people that, oh, right, I haven't taken care of my mind health today. Or they can have their own place where people can come and have their Salveggio meditations. And then we even want to encourage it in the home. We think it's going to be the new room, that you have a mind health room, and you can go there. And yes, there's plants, there's water, the component of nature, again, the food for mood, exercise, education, just peace and calm. You instantly, when you come in, you feel good. Gratitude trees, the power of scent. We teach about your brain on essential oils and the power of that. There's so much that, I can go on and on of what you can do, but we need these constant reminders, because when we wake up, we function every day. By the time we're 35 years old, we are pretty much a set of memorized. We're a program, and we function every day at about 95% our subconscious programming. It's what makes all our decisions, and 5% consciousness. Think about that.
Yeah.
We need to get more conscious, and by having these constant reminders, makes us stop, be in the present moment, and go, oh, right, at lunch I'm going to do this for my mind health. It just helps to remind you. And that's what it's all about. So
let's talk next 24 months. Close your eyes. Let's envision. What does the next 24 months look like for the Happiness Hub?
Wow.
And for Karen.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big dreamer. a big thinker. So I mean, we aim to go global with this. We're starting in Calgary. We want to go across Canada. The HAPPIFIED Hub, just opening that. We have a really exciting campaign we're going to be announcing January 1st. It's a theme for the entire year. And we want to involve the entire community of YYC to get involved. And it's going to be fun and it's going to be exciting. And then we want to take it across the country and go international. I mean, I already do a lot of international work and have a lot of contacts in this space, world leaders in this space. So we've got a plan to just go as big as we can and get this message out. Imagine a world where everyone everywhere was inspired and supported to protect and enhance their mind health. I mean, I imagine that. I dream about that. I'm such a lover of humanity, but my heart really hurts that we're in such a mental health crisis. It's not good.
It's said that a happy employee is a productive employee, right? Happy wife, happy life. We've got all of this out there. None of this is new. And yet somehow we've managed to get caught up in chasing things that don't really, we go and do things that we don't want to do so that we can acquire things we don't need, so that we can impress people we really don't need to impress, because at the end of the day, maybe we should have done something for the one person that counts. Put the oxygen mask on so that we can support our community around us.
Mm-hmm. Well, happiness has always been thought of soft.
Yeah.
And I really, the last decade, I've done a lot of work on the business of happiness, and happiness doesn't really translate into the workplace. And again, there's so much research and science out there that proves that a happy employee they're better at sales, they're better at building relationships, they're more productive, they're more
creative.
Yeah, there is such an ROI to this. And I've been trying to shout it from the rooftops. I'm always ahead of myself, and I'm not going to give up. I still feel, though, I'm a little bit ahead of what the status quo is, but just keep going.
All the big thinkers are, Karen.
Yes.
All the big thinkers are. I want to close this out with, I'm going to circle right back around to community.
Mm-hmm.
What does community mean to you?
Wow. Well, first of all, it starts with me, as I said. It's a connection to myself. If I don't feel connected to myself, then I don't understand. I feel, So it's to myself first. And then community to me is kindness, just more empathy, understanding people, giving people space and capacity, being around like-minded. And it's one thing I just love about being at the club. I feel like I found my place where I belong. One of the things that most are people being hired at the club, one of the number one criteria was based on kindness. And it's exactly what it is. Everybody stops and looks each other in the eye. We take time to ask and really give 100% attention to how you're doing. We want to hear each other's stories. We want to support each other. We're all want to create this amazing environment for people to thrive. And it's just so awesome to go into a place that every day and be building this culture of connection. Connection. I guess community is really connection to me.
Amazing. Thank you, Karen.
Mm-hmm.
This
Thank
is
you.
awesome. You know what, folks? Seriously, it really does come down to how we move forward. And the world is shifting so fast around us. The best thing we can do is lean in, find ourselves, find those five senses, inspire yourself. Sight, sound, scent, taste, touch. What are you doing today to feed your soul? Because a depleted soul will create depleted space. So fill yourself up. Check out Karen's new space. We're going to have everything on our show notes. You know what? And if you're looking for a community, come check us out. I'm here. Thanks for joining today.
Thank you for joining us today on the Back to Business podcast. Be sure to visit calpeteclub.com, CalPeteclub.com, to find out more about upcoming events, networking opportunities, and membership. If you are not already a valued member at the CPC, where we are proudly connecting and supporting Calgary's business leaders.